Tony Bernardo, Executive Director of the Canadian Institute for Legislative Action, is with us. Tony, how you doing, sir?
Hi, Cam. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on the program tonight.
Always my pleasure.
All right, so you guys have elections coming up in Canada, right?
We do indeed. Yes, we're in the beginnings of one of our beautiful 35, 36-day election periods.
I love the fact that you guys are our neighbors to the north, and yet our system of elections is so incredibly different under the parliamentary system. Now, the government in Canada has collapsed, right? Is that the word that you use?
Has collapsed? No.
No?
No, it's been ceased.
It's been ceased.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds better.
Yeah, well, it hasn't collapsed. I mean, the Parliament, all the ministers are still ministers, and every department of government still functions perfectly. The Prime Minister is still the Prime Minister. However, the Parliament has been dissolved.
Okay.
Okay, that is the technical term for it. It has been dissolved.
Okay. Now, they, in essence, what, a confidence of no confidence vote was taken in Parliament on the minority government?
That's correct.
Okay, because the Conservatives are in the minority.
That's right. The opposition parties successfully passed a non-confidence motion in the federal government.
Okay.
Causing the governor, the Prime Minister, to go to the Governor General and request permission that the 40th Parliament be dissolved.
Okay. Now, this does not automatically mean, Tony, like here in the United States, we might presume, oh, well, this means the Conservatives are toast in the upcoming election. But that's not necessarily the case.
Oh, absolutely not. No, as a matter of fact, the polls right now for the Conservatives are the highest they've been.
Oh, really?
Absolutely remarkable. Yeah. Things keep going the way they're going here, and Stephen Harper is looking at getting his majority government. That's a good thing for all of us.
Yeah, okay, so from a political perspective, I have to ask, it seems like it wouldn't make a lot of sense for the opposition parties to call for a no-confidence vote if it's, possible or even likely that the Conservatives are going to gain a majority.
Well, right now, this is the longest-serving minority government that we've had in our history. The fact is that the opposition parties are very poorly poised to fight an election. They would have to go to an election this time next year. We have rules as to how long a government can serve before they must go to an election, and that would be coming up in 2012. So really, they're getting close to it anyway. You might as well at least try to pick the most opportune time for you to go. The other thing, of course, and this is something that nobody's really talking much about, is the leader of the Liberal Party is a very poor leader. He is somebody that they desperately want to replace. And in our parliamentary system, it is really considered unseemly to turf a leader until he's lost an election. Okay, so this is, for the Liberals, I think there's a great deal of bloodletting involved in here, too.
Oh, okay.
The Bloc Québécois in Quebec, they're poised to get most of the seats in Quebec again, solidifying a power base for themselves at a time when their leader is about to step down. Rumor has it, reliable rumor down the grapevine, is that as soon as the election's over, he's going to start submitting his resignation and hand it over to somebody else. Well, nothing like handing over, a 4-year mandate or a 5-year mandate to say, here we go.
Right.
Yeah. The other party, the New Democratic Party, which is left of the Liberals,
okay,
they've been actually gaining credibility at the Liberals' expense for at least several years now. So for them, hey, if they pick up 1 or 2 more seats, that's a great thing,
Oh, okay. So the relationship between the Liberals and the NDP kind of reminds me of how Labour supplanted the Liberal Party in England back at the turn of the 20th century.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically what you've got is, 2 sisters that look the same and both fight over the same bathroom. You know what that's about, don't you, Cam?
Actually, I only had one sister, so I'm good. But I've heard. So how big a deal, Tony, is gun control going to be in the upcoming elections?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It is the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about.
Okay.
You see, back when the gun registry didn't quite make it, we had a number of members of Parliament that flip-flopped. They promised their constituents they would vote to get rid of the gun registry, and then at the last minute, the 11th hour, change their vote to support their parties against the wishes of their constituents. Those ridings, a number of them, are in seriously deep trouble for the incumbents.
Oh, really?
Yes, very much so, and over this issue. Like many of these ridings that were represented by NDP or Liberal members of Parliament were very, very rural ridings.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, full of hunters and fishermen and people who love the great outdoors and own piles of guns, and the constituents are mad. Now, in some ridings, it really won't make that big a difference, but in other ridings, it could be all the difference. There's a couple of those ridings where, in the last election, the MP won by a few hundred votes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems like a funny issue to bet your career on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Now, do you think, Tony, the anti-gun forces? I know when we were talking about the vote to undo the long gun registry, we talked about how the dream of the anti-gunners is to push a ban on handguns in Canada. Do you see that coming up as a campaign issue?
No, it won't be involved in this election, I don't think, Cam. You might get a very misguided liberal who happens to muse about something like that.
Right.
He would get stepped on pretty hard by his party. They really can't afford to lose any more votes than they've already lost.
Okay.
Certainly from the Conservatives, that's not in the cards.
Okay. So when will the election take place, Tony?
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Yeah, we do them quick here. We don't do a lot of dragging it on for months and months stuff,
I was going to say, President Obama is formally expected to announce he's running for re-election here in a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy hanging chads, we don't have those kind of problems. We tend to get our elections over with pretty quickly, everybody hates them anyway.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if I could get used to saying a boot, but I could get used to a 35-day election cycle. I'll tell you that, Tony.
It makes it quick, and it makes it pretty lively. But, while up here politics is a blood sport, too, it's nothing like the U.S.
Yeah. That's because you guys are nice.
Really,
so
up
nice.
here, the personal lives of our candidates really don't enter into it much,
Yeah?
You occasionally get the odd thing, but most of the time, Canadians really don't care, Not much point in making a news story about something nobody cares about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, I'm sure we'll be talking more about the upcoming elections between now and May the 2nd, but I'm glad you could join us on the program tonight, my friend.
Thank you, Cam. It's looking very good for a conservative majority government in Canada, as long as nobody does anything stupid or trips up. I think it's Stephen Harper's election to lose.
All right. Tony B., thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Cam, and have a great night.
You too.